Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here in June. A very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. If you're feeling extremely charitable, and I know my subscribers are really charitable, smash the subscribe button. Of course, if you're a subscriber, you won't need to do that. But if you're brand new, please be nice and welcome to the family. Welcome to the channel that speaks its mind. And you can decide whether you agree or not. But instead of unsubscribing because you don't agree, you have a debate with me. That's the whole point. Smash the like button. Follow me on Twitter @MoviesTVMan. And welcome to Friday's edition of the dceu Daily. And as I've already said, this channel prides itself from its very inception of saying it how it is, from its point of view, my point of view. We need to talk about Ava DuVernay's New Gods. Ava DuVernay is a creative I don't like. I've made my thoughts to her very clear. She's blocked me on Twitter. I don't know what she's like as a person. I'm not saying I don't like her as a person. I don't like her as a creative. I don't like any creative that uses their platform, their talent, their art to create mixed messaging, ideology. We've seen what happens with Birds of Prey when we allow these crazy people to put their crazy view of the world, their toxic opinion of men onto film. So I was very, very concerned when Ava DuVernay was announced to be writing and directing a New Gods film. Now, I've seen A Wrinkle in Time. It's a very good Saturday afternoon television movie. It's not a particularly interesting cinematic experience, and that's why it flopped. But the messaging was there. Again, she was hailed as a god for representation. I don't get why. What was she actually representing? Because people of colour are actually the most represented minority in the world. And this is what I don't understand. I'm a Greek Cypriot. I'm not represented, right? So when I hear this thing that people of colour are not represented enough, and I want everyone to be represented. I want the most talented people of colour to be on my TV and cinema screens. I want the most talented people, diverse group of people on my TV and films, and I want their stories told. Let's be clear about this before I start. Right, she was asked by a fan the other day how New Gods is going. She admitted that she's on her 4th draft of the movie. So let's do a little history lesson about this woman's development of this movie. In 2018, it was announced that she would be writing and directing this picture. In 2019, she announced that she was now working with Tom King in developing this movie. And do you know why Tom King's involved in this movie? Not because he's helping within the development or he's got a vision for this film. So she doesn't have to research New Gods herself. She claims to be a fan of the graphic novels. I don't believe her. So Tom's really just there for 2 reasons. One, for us geeks to say, ooh, Tom King's involved. And so she doesn't have to refer to any of the graphic novels for any research. So she's had four drafts of this movie. She's working on the 4th. I can exclusively tell you today that 3 of her drafts have been rejected by Warner Brothers, and this is her last chance. If they don't like this draft, she is off the project. She's off the project, right? That's the fact. That's what I know. That's what I can tell you today. The best thing for this project is if they dump her. I don't know whose idea it was for her to be involved in this picture, because I think it's wrong. I would love Tom King to remain and use his vision because he's brilliant. I love his vision of Batman. Tom's a great guy. But at the end of the day, the last thing we want is another Birds of Prey, right? And the last thing we want is for Ava DuVernay just to cast all her mates, right? And not think about the picture, not to think of the feeling and the tone and the glory of the graphic novels. You know, if you're doing 4 drafts, right, what normally happens with a movie, right, you're told to do it, you write it, then it takes about 2 years to actually produce the movie and make the movie. She's on her 4th draft because Warner Brothers haven't liked her other 3 takes. That says everything. So I believe she will be dumped. There's no question for me, she will not be involved in this picture. Now, I predicted this before. Now, even though she's still there and she's still writing it, to be literally still writing a picture after nearly 3 years, right, is insane. Absolutely insane. There's no casting. Nothing else has been sorted out for this picture. She's on her 4th draft, as I repeatedly keep on saying. So this development isn't going anywhere. So this is extremely problematic, extremely, and I'm even losing my voice, just like Ava's losing her touch. But these are the facts. 4 drafts, 3 rejected by Warner Brothers. Tom King only there, so she doesn't have to research New Gods herself. And I love the New Gods. When I heard this picture was happening, I was excited. But her involvement is extremely troubling. And as far as I'm concerned, as soon as she's off the picture, and she's going to be off the picture, this is her last chance. And I mean, why would 3 of these drafts be rejected? That's a lot of drafts. At least for an idea of the drafts to be, yeah, we like them, but we need you to refine some of the stuff you're doing. That's not the case. All 3 drafts, 100% of her work on them, have been rejected. That says a lot, my friends. So I hope and I predict that she will be off this picture. And hopefully we can get someone who cares about these characters, who's not just here to promote this social justice message all the time, to tell us that men are bad, to tell us that representation is important. Representation is important, but not when we sacrifice good character development and good storytelling. And this is the problem with this woman. When I look at her work already, it's not great. She obviously can direct and tell people how to act, and she knows where to tell the person to point the camera and what angles she wants. But even I can do that. That doesn't make me a great artist, and it doesn't make me a great director or writer. Even in terms of acting, I can act. I'm a trained actor, but at the end of the day, I wouldn't say I'm a particularly great actor, right? So most people can do these things when they're trained, but I don't. Look, this is what I'm talking about. This is the DCEU. We want the best people for the job. Someone was asking if the guy who does the voice for Darkseid is going to do it for New Gods. Of course not. She's going to cast one of her mates. This is the underlining problem with her. So she's had 3 drafts rejected. She's working on her 4th, and it's not looking good for her future on New Gods. As I say, Tom King wasn't always on this project. Apparently, Ava DuVernay and Tom King are very good friends, so I think she dragged him along for the ride. But it's not going to end very well for her. It's all very problematic, and when you're on your 4th draft in over 2 years, there's a problem. Now, there's a little article here on Screen Rant, totally unrelated about Ava. I've said what I've got to say about her. DC is beating Marvel in both 2020 and 2021. Now, as usual, I haven't read it, I haven't proofed it, because I like to react to these things with you, because it's a lot more fun like that, don't you think? Due in part to the coronavirus delay, DC is winning the superhero movie battle with Marvel 2 years in a row, with bigger and more exciting films. Thanks to the coronavirus delays, it would seem that DC will win the superhero movie battle with Marvel Studios in both 2020 and 2021. For a long time now, Marvel has been the one making the biggest and most successful comic book movies. But biggest doesn't mean better. Always remember that. But with recent hits like Aquaman and Wonder Woman, DC's fortunes appear to be changing for the better. Both studios have 8 films scheduled to release between 2020 and 2022. In 2020, Marvel's plan was to release Black Widow in the summer, followed by Eternals in November, whereas DC released Birds of Prey, The Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn in February, with Wonder Woman 84 planned for June 2020. For 2021, Marvel was expected to release the 4 films for the first time in MCU history. Meanwhile, DC had a full slate of 3 movies scheduled for both. Marvel and DC have since changed, however, on account of the production delays caused by COVID-19 pandemic. These delays have forced studios to change release dates for a long list of upcoming movies. Looking at the current schedule the two studios have in 2020 and 2021, DC is arguably more exciting. First of all, Marvel has had to move Eternals to 2021, which means that Black Widow is the lone MCU installment this year. This is strange for Marvel, but an unavoidable situation at the same time. DC, on the other hand, have suffered from disappointing box office performance from Birds of Prey, but still gets to release Wonder Woman 84, which has generated significant amount of buzz. Black Widow is unfortunately a movie that many feel is happening too late, even before its coronavirus delay. Yes, this was a film that should have came after Iron Man 2. This company talk about representation, but this woman was the first female superhero in their universe, and Feige refused to give her a movie for years. Why? We have to speak as it is, and this is what we do on this channel. The idea that DC is making bigger and more exciting movies than Marvel will continue into 2021, which has become an interesting situation for the studios. Marvel's release date changes were much greater than DC's. DC changed its release date for the Batman and Black Adam, but managed to keep them in 2021. The Suicide Squad hasn't moved from its August 2021 slot. Marvel, though, had to push Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and Thor: Love and Thunder to 2022, being two of Marvel's most highly anticipated movies. They provided Marvel Studios with a solid 2021 lineup, but now Marvel is left with Eternals in February, Shang-Chi and the Legend of Ten Rings in May, and its third Spider-Man film in November. Spider-Man is one of the biggest names in comics, but the same can't be said for the Eternals and Shang-Chi, which is unsurprisingly aren't drawing the same level of enthusiasm. This is a good point. And interest surrounding James Gunn's The Suicide Squad or Matt Reeves' The Batman right now. It looks like that DC has a more exciting slate than Marvel for 2 years in a row, but it's important to note that this may not translate to a better box office turnout. I'm really sorry about this. It's my morning throat. I hate it. More exciting slate than Marvel for 2 years in a row. But it's important to note that this may not translate to a better box office turnout. Admittedly, Eternals and Shang-Chi are based on obscure Marvel characters, but given Marvel's reputation of turning lesser-known heroes into household names, it's not hard to imagine Marvel making Shang-Chi and Eternals into massive box office hits. Well, this is something I've been saying for a very long time. Endgame was really the end, right? Captain America and Iron Man are now gone, right? Their slate of characters has changed. Shang-Chi isn't an exciting project. The Eternals isn't an exciting project, not for the mainstream. I'm sure people will go in their droves because it's got the Marvel logo on it. I agree with that. So they'll still probably make just under $1 billion. Nobody really knows what Black Adam's going to make or what the Suicide Squad 2021 is going to make. The Batman is Batman. You expect that to make near $1 billion. It has to, right? And you've got Shazam 2. And then you've got Aquaman 2 as well. Look, there's some really exciting projects. And of course, this year we've still got Wonder Woman 94. 94? That's a new one. That must be the director's cut, eh, Patty? Wonder Woman 1984, which really should be making $1 billion. Let's be clear here. That's what I want for it and hope for it. So, yes, DC have got the most exciting projects. I've actually been saying this for so long. I think as soon as I heard that the new phase for the MCU being announced, I kind of thought, really, the only one that kind of excites me is Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. That sounds great. I like Doctor Strange. I like the first film. But the rest of them are very, very underwhelming. Again, the Shang-Chi movie, basically in the name of representation, right? But I'm not saying they shouldn't be doing that film. I'm just saying that it isn't a very exciting IP, and who's going to be excited for it? It's probably going to be a great movie, right? But again, here's the problem. So, yeah, when I look at the DCEU slate, it's very, very exciting. With an announcement for a Superman movie to come, and who knows what else James Gunn's going to be doing with DC after Guardians of the Galaxy 3. These are very, very exciting times, actually, and who knows, if we get the Snyder Cut as well, we have got a very exciting future here with the DCEU. So please comment down below. Let me know what you think about what I had to say about Ava DuVernay's future in developing the New Gods movie. As I said, problematic appointment from the very beginning. She's got one more chance with this fourth draft. She doesn't do what they want, she is gone. And if she does what they want, she's basically giving up her creative freedom, which has been an issue with the DCEU already. So it's in the balance there. Not definitely gone, but she's kind of creeping out the door. So I will certainly be keeping my eye on that one and keeping you updated. So comment down below, what do you think? Who's got the most important slate, the most exciting slate? Is it the DCEU or is it the MCU? If you're a mainstream moviegoer who doesn't support either or, comment down below. Let me know which ones you're more excited about. Like, share and subscribe, and I will be back tomorrow with even more DCEU Daily. See you again soon. Sorry about the throat. Nothing I can do about it.